I have a dear friend who brought the sweetest gift to my house over the weekend. She knows how much I have wanted a Treadle sewing machine, and when she found this one, she decided to get it for me. It was such a thoughtful surprise, and I am so very thankful for her kindness and her friendship. Today, I am going to see if I can get this beautiful machine in working order. The Standard Sewing Machine Company was started in the 1880s in Ohio, and in the 1930s it was bought out by the Singer Manufacturing Company. This particular machine is from 1904. When looking for a Treadle sewing machine that you hope to actually sew with, it's important to make sure most of the pieces are there because it can be difficult to find replacements. Don't worry if the belt is missing. That's something that can be easily replaced. A helpful clue can be if there are signs of the machine being relatively recently sewed with, such as this bundle of pins and needles on this one, or the antique needles found in the drawer. I started with oiling every part of this machine. Anything that moves needs plenty of sewing machine oil. Using a clean toothbrush helps the oil fully penetrate and helps remove any grime on the machine. Don't use any soap and water on the machine, which can cause rust. Remove the faceplate and oil the inside of the head of the machine. Oil any place where two parts come in contact when in motion. Oil the bobbin winder and give it a wiggle to make sure the oil gets in the joints. Unscrew the needle plate and oil the feed, the bobbin case latch, the shuttle, and the bobbin case. These holes on the top of the machine are called oiling holes, and they are there for oil to reach the parts of the machine that can't otherwise be accessed. Lift the sewing machine and oil under the bed. Turn the wheel and watch what moves to make sure you haven't missed any spots. At some point, the spool pin had been knocked loose, so I straightened that up too. Just like you shouldn't use soap and water to clean the inside workings of your machine, you should also just use sewing machine oil to clean the outside of your machine. Use a generous amount of oil to wipe down all parts of your sewing machine and treadle. The toothbrush really comes in handy for the treadle. This machine also has caster wheels, which is delightfully functional, so I made sure to give those a good cleaning with oil too. For the wooden cabinet, I wiped everything with a cloth I dampened with vinegar and let it dry. The wood was pretty thirsty, so I rubbed tallow on it before buffing it with finishing wax. I also applied a coat of finishing wax to the sewing machine to help protect the beautiful original etching on it. I found a really cool listing on Etsy that has a replication of these engraved designs for this exact machine, but I don't feel like the designs on this machine are too far gone to have to replace them yet, so I'd rather just try and preserve the originals for now. The leather belt for this machine was dry rotted, so I bought a replacement kit to put on a new leather belt. The kit was only $12 and came with 2 belts, which I thought was great in case I messed up the first one, but the process ended up being much simpler than I thought it would be. The belts are attached with a hefty built-in staple, just like the original antique belt, and you just measure, poke a little hole through the leather with this little stabby tool they give you, check to see if you got the correct length by turning the treadle, and adjust the length little by little before pinching the staple closed with some pliers. It's better to start with too long a length than too little, so you can slowly adjust to a smaller size each time you test it on your machine. To test out the machine, I wanted something easy to sew that was just some straight lines to get used to sewing with a treadle machine, so I cut out some 12-inch by 12-inch cloth napkins. This was also a great time to test out the bobbin winder on this machine. Unthread your machine if it's threaded, otherwise it will become a tangled mess when using the bobbin winder. Pull up the bobbin winder so that it is engaged by the belt. The original manual for this machine also mentions to loosen the belt by turning the little thumb screw on the hand wheel halfway around. On the antique machines, you are supposed to secure the thread to the bobbin by first winding it by hand a little bit, and then hand feeding it thread while it winds on the bobbin winder. As you can see, this is the part I really struggled to figure out. The bobbin was just not tight on the bobbin winder, and it was a loose, tangled, flying mess. I finally was able to rectify the situation by putting a tiny piece of duct tape on the spool pin, which made it just tight enough and gave it just enough grip to make a beautiful bobbin of thread. To take out the bobbin case, open the trap door and press the button near your needle to lift the bobbin case latch. Thread the bobbin case, pulling the thread through the slot and under the tension spring, then return it to the shuttle. Pull up the thread by turning the hand wheel away from you one time, then help pull up the thread the rest of the way with something like a pair of scissors. To thread the upper thread on your machine, place it on the spool pin, draw the thread through the thread guide. Starting at the right, wind the thread around the tension wheel 1.5 times. Thread it through the take-up, then down through this other thread guide. And finally, thread your needle from left to right. I should add that when replacing your needle, the flat side of your needle should be facing inwards towards the machine, not away from it. This part of the machine adjusts the length of your stitches. Turn the wheel to loosen it, then shift it to the left towards the 1 for smaller stitches, and shift it towards the right for longer stitches. The stitches will not be long enough for a basting stitch, but this machine can make very tiny stitches, so I found that I like to leave it somewhere in the middle for my stitch length. To start sewing, give the hand wheel a nice firm turn away from your body, then catch it with your feet to keep the motion going. It takes a little bit of playing around with to get used to the motion, and I quickly found that I need to respond to the machine, because unlike an electric sewing machine, it is not going to respond to me. The last thing to remember about sewing on one of these machines is that there is no backstitch on the machine. It is necessary to tie a hand knot at the beginning and end of your seams. Pull the thread to one side of the fabric so it isn't bunched up when you knot it. You can do this with a pin or needle, or you can use your fingers by just opening your seam slightly until your thread becomes loose enough to pull it through one side. Right away, I experienced a meaningful connection sewing with this antique machine. It's touching a piece of history. Each stitch feels so grounding, and of course it will always remind me of the precious friend who gave it to me. Besides the emotional connection to the machine, it makes a stunning quality of stitches. The stitches are very strong and neatly made. I'm very impressed with how well this machine works after putting very little time into it. I know it's a little redundant to say these machines were built to last, but golly, they were built to last. If you ever come across one of these antique machines, I would encourage you to take it home and give it new life. These machines are certainly worthy of it. Until next time, keep stitching, keep tending, and keep choosing slow. I'll link the products I used to fix this machine down in the description, and please leave my sweet friend who gave me this machine some love down in the comments.